Those noises though. Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to another car review, and today we're in a 1991 MR2, also known by its chassis code as the SW20. This one started life as a naturally aspirated North American model, which means that it got the 2.2 liter engine in it. But since then, as a lot of cars that I review, some things have changed, and this one now has a JDM swap in it, which is turbocharged. So the engine is a 3S GTE, and stock in the turbo model here, it would make 200 horsepower and 200 torque. This one makes a little bit more than that. It makes 320 horsepower and 330 torque. Another thing that changed with the engine swap is the brake system. Stock, it came with a one piston brake system, and this now has two pistons, and it's very hard to modulate, as you just saw, because it is like on or off. Now that might be the way this brake system is set up, and if you drive this car a lot, then that will fix itself. Those noises though. Turn. Man, this thing pulls so hard, so hard. I love it. It's also a little bit lower to the ground while the wildlife is having a feast over there. It kind of rubs. It also is because of the tires. The tires that are on here are 45 tall, and they should actually be 40, but that will be rectified further down the future when the owner changes out his tires. Let's get on these brakes here. Modulate them, it's a whole lot better, but if you just stomp on them, it's gonna slow you down very, very hard. Now, if you talk about performance figures on the car, stock, it did 0 to 60 around 6 seconds, and the quarter mile is a 14-second car. This, though, it's obviously gonna be a little bit faster than that. This thing has plenty of freaking grunt. Now, the owner told me that this is still on the stock ECU, and the problem with that is that as soon as you go full throttle, which what I did with the first pull, it dumps all the fuel in the engine, and the engine, it kind of floods it. So it is not as nice as it would be with just not completely full throttle, which what this pull was just now. And it feels very nice, it feels very solid, and the pull, the horsepower, and the torque, it is definitely there. Another thing that got changed on this car is the suspension. It is now on Coney yellows, while we see a nice M3 over there, which we're gonna see race past. It's a V8 model. It's very nice. He's looking too. That is so awesome. See, I love running into people like that. People that have that same mindset. They just have a little bit of fun, you know? And the steering in this is actually unassisted, which isn't bad at all. And it has so much nice usable torque down low. And those noises, man, even partial throttle, it's so cool hearing that stuff coming from the back. There's just something about cars like these, and I do have to go full disclosure here. Back when I lived in the Netherlands, I was actually part of an MR2 forum because I love this car, and I really wanted one of these when I was growing up because of the styling, because of the way that it looks. It has that typical 90s styling. It is all rounded, and to me it is perfection. I love the 80s, but also love the 90s if the styling was right, and this one got it down. It really looks like the Ferraris of the day, and it actually also beat a couple of Ferraris of the day as well, stock. That is just so quick, so quick. And you can definitely hear as soon as you go up in speed, the wind noise start to get very, very noticeable. Now, another thing that comes up obviously is the cars of the era, and this is one of the forgotten cars. Another one that isn't forgotten though is the one that's right over here. Freaking NSX. And my God, is that a beauty. It's one of the later models without the pop-up lights. And talk about pop-up lights, this car has them. I mean, where do you get that nowadays? It is such a passion thing also. So this car has a couple of changes over the stock version of the car, and one of them I would have instantly done if I ever ended up owning one, and that is the taillights. Pre-94, the taillights really look, well, 90s, which is unfortunate because it kind of takes away from the look of the car. But in 94, they upgraded those taillights and it updated the rear end by almost a decade. I mean, it got current right away, and I freaking love the way that it looks now. Also, the rear spoiler is not a stock unit. It almost looks stock, but it has that nice little duck tail on there, which I really enjoy looking at. So on the front it has a 93 front splitter, and on the sides it has Greddy side skirts, which sets this car off. Now the wheels on this are Advan AVS VS5 wheels. I like them because they have that contemporary 90s look. A lot of people would run wheels that look kind of like that. Nowadays it needs to be super flashy, and it's cool to see a car like this roll by because it looks stock. Even though, you know, you have an exhaust back there, which is a Berg full turbo back exhaust, which is 3-inch with 4-inch tips, and it's not too loud either. Like on cruise right now, you don't really hear it too much. And of course, you know, all the engine sound is going out the back, which helps that situation. But man, it's just a really nice, well set up car. Next to the exhaust, this car also has the ATS side mount intercooler, which keeps the intake temperatures a lot cooler, which, you know, allows for more power. It has a limited slip. Stock, even the turbo models in the US did not get that limited slip until later on. So it is a welcome addition to this car as well, because you run more power, you run the risk of course, breaking traction, and having a limited slip makes it a whole lot more controllable. We never got to that point here because I don't really like to rag on older cars like this one too much, and it's 27 years old right now, and that is something I cannot believe, that this car is 27 years old, because it looks so cool. Even in today's traffic, it is still 100% current. And it's so unfortunate that you do not see these cars anymore, because every time I see one, my heart skips a beat because I wanted one for so long. And now that I've driven one, I completely understand why. This is just, it's a permanent grin on your face, man. You just cannot get enough of a car like this. That is why we do these things, for the noise. I wanted one of these for a long time, and to finally drive one, I really wish I could have made this happen back in the day, because this car is just so nice to drive, and it handles so nicely as well. And the exhaust noise that comes out of the back, the engine noise, you can't compare it. It's the same with the Porsche, it's the same with the 4C that I reviewed, and even the AW11. It is just something that you do not get in a regular car, that you need to experience it in order to believe it. And this car will make you a 100% believer. I love this thing. Now, if we go over to the interior styling, it is typical 90s, bubbly goodness everywhere. I love the gauges. They're freaking huge, right in your face, as they usually are in cars. But here, it's just really, really noticeable how big these gauges are and how easy it is to see them at a glance. One thing that obviously comes up on the interior also are these seats. These seats are out of a turbo model. The naturally aspirated one got the cloth seats, but the turbo model also got a bunch of adjustments. So you have these side bolsters, which you can adjust to your needs, which I think is really, really cool to have that kind of adjustment on cars like this. I also love that you have space in here, which you did not have in the AW11. And it's also cool to note that everything changed so much with these cars. Where you go to AW11, then you went to the SW20, and then the follow-up version, which is the 3rd gen, which I can't remember the chassis code of. It is a difference every single time, which is super weird. Because usually when it comes down to cars like this, and any car really, you see kind of that evolution. And with the MR2s, it's just not there. What I do wish, though, in the future is that they come back with a car like this. Because right now, there is nothing out there with the mid-engine that is, well, quote-unquote, affordable. Because if you go to other cars that I've driven, like the Porsche, like the 4C, the affordability aspect just isn't there, and that is very unfortunate. That turbo really comes in at 3,500 RPM. It really starts pulling at that point. You see that boost gauge just move. That's another thing that I absolutely love about the interior of this car, is that you get these gauges over here, which gives you just a little extra visual cue what the car is doing, and you see that boost gauge just go. It's an awesome thing, it really is. Of course, these gauges, they didn't come stock with it. This is what the owner put in, and it also has the air fuel over to the side over here, so you can keep tabs on what the engine's doing. I think another cool thing about this car is that even though it is 27 years old at this point, there's still so much aftermarket support for these, and that shows you these cars are true enthusiast cars. I mean, you can go from mild, which is what this one is, to absolutely wild. They have intakes that curve around the roof, which is something that I looked at back when I was on those MR2 forums. I mean, I absolutely love that stuff. And still, now after driving this car, you know, it's starting to build up that old love that I had when I was a teenager. Just wanted to get back in it, really. Which is a dangerous thing, because now I have a family, and of course you only got 2 seats in these. So conclusion on this car, it is a very simple one. It is 100% yes. Meeting my hero, it's been a great experience for me, and don't ever limit yourself. You have something that you want to experience and you're giving the opportunity to do so, do it. If you don't like it, fine, but chances are you are going to be surprised, and chances are you are going to absolutely love it. And over here, of course, we're gonna have to do this thing. We'll go down all the way to first gear here. That, my friends, is awesome. 10, thank you so much for letting me drive your MR2. This is the token experience that everyone should have. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Well, so what can't I do with this car? Because that's one of the things that I always like to ask.
What can you do?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go drifting around and not gonna do a clutch dump or anything like that. But you don't want me to get above a certain RPM. Oh, hey, the brakes are pretty good.
Yeah. The brake, yeah. When I first upgrade the brake, I'm like, this might be a bit stronger. No, it is a lot stronger. It bites so hard. But no, you are pretty good.
I already hear that turbocharger go. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, these brakes, man. I just cannot get used to them. If I try to brake harder, it just goes from modulated to.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful.
It's not really working too well. The handbrake, it was still moving back.
Yeah, now you mention it. That's the common problem for all the
I put it up and it's like still rolling back. Like, wait a minute, what's going on?
For all the SW20, the handbrake never works. Like, it doesn't want to work.
Well, you got regular brakes that work very well.
Yeah, like because these use cable and they get loose very easy. And when they get loose, you have to replace the cable or lift the whole car and kind of down there, which is a pain in the ass to do.
Yeah, and then you can't do anything with the engine unless you like drop it out of the bottom either, because you can't.
You can.
Yeah, it's like a Ferrari in that regard. It's more like a Ferrari than you would like to admit. It seems to pull better on half throttle. It seemed like it kind of like cut boost a little bit when I went full throttle.
It seems that. Yeah, because like the stock ECU for this engine, like they run so rich, so as soon as you stop on the gas, it's gonna run full open loop.
Oh, okay.
So it's dumping so much fuel into it, just gonna So it's kind of rob the power instead of just gradually.
SI.
I do like those, but like the hatch version.
The hatches?
Yeah, those are so cool. I like them a lot. And the way they place the shifters, like come off.
Oh, you're like
console.
over here?
Oh yeah.
You like that? I always found those SI so weird. It's like they're trying too hard to bring back. I think what's that? The EG?
Oh yeah, the EG.
Yeah, which is pretty much the same area as what this one was. And now if I look myself up after editing this video and I say it wrong, this doesn't make the video. But you know, it's like the early 90s Civic hatches. I nearly had one of those.
Really?
Yeah, not a high horsepower one, it's just a 1600 with the 5-speed, of course, because that's what Europe does. You have a manual everywhere. But still, it's like the same era as this. I love it. That's the heyday of Japanese car manufacturing. It is that area right there. Oh, yo.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I need to move down here. Look at that baby. My neighbor had one, but it says like a garage queen. It doesn't go out. Oh, man, that looks so cool.
That is awesome, man. It's like perfect. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, it just roll out.
Yeah, it's a roll out. Dude, no, there's no way. I was gonna talk about that, and then it just comes up like that. Beautiful, man. Man, I can't believe that.
Yeah. Like that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, just out of freaking nowhere. I mean,
it just fit in so perfectly.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, no. Oh man, that rubbing.
Oh, it's getting worse when I track this thing. I do autocross with it, like casual weekend autocross. Oh boy, you hit.
Another thing about the interiors, of course, these seats, and those turbo noises for days.
Oh, there's that
NSX again.
Run it. Oh.
Yeah.
You run that line.
Yeah, here, it's still rolling back.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, crank on that thing.
That's one of the joke along the SW20 community, where people said like you pull the handbrake to make U-turn.
Yeah.
Not in this thing. It doesn't bite. Pull the e-brake all you want. It's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, I know. And I'm gonna go into my Mustang. I'm gonna break my arm because it's gonna catch right here. I'm gonna be like, oh, I need to put the handbrake on. Yeah, that's crazy. But you know, it's also a car that's 27 years old. I mean, what are you talking about?